Hey guys, Super Chris Productions here, and today I'm really excited to finally be bringing you guys my Justice League custom minifigure showcase video. Now, I did start on these way back in, I think, March, maybe it was. I know I started on Flash and ended up finishing Batman first. Then later on, in end of July, I finished Wonder Woman, and I just recently... Something else I want to mention is this showcase isn't late. I'm actually recording this on Tuesday, the week of the movie's release. And normally my showcases are kind of late for a movie's release. And I usually end up mentioning that I finish a figure last minute. But that wasn't the case. I actually recently finished Cyborg a few hours ago. Aquaman was done the day before the day I'm recording this. Flash was done 2 days before that, so these figures, I did kind of rush them, but I tried not to make the showcase late like usual, recording it and getting all the figures done, so this time I was actually on time. But, yeah, so I'm probably not going to be making any other figures from this movie as much as I'd like to. But I do have, as you can see, Cyborg, Aquaman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, and I have this bat signal back here because I didn't want the scene to be too plain. But, yeah guys, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this video. Alright guys, so the first figure we have here is Batman. Now this guy was, like I said, the first figure I finished. This guy was actually really simple, and you're probably wondering about the cape. As you can already see, it does have these little weird pattern in it, which I kind of like, but it's the type of fabric I use. Since this figure was done way back when I first started using fabric, this was the first type of fabric I used to use, which was this weird looking fabric. But I mean, it is a nice fabric. It doesn't how do you call it, fray? It doesn't fray. But yeah, so as you can see here, this figure, all I did was, I took a Batman cowl, the new 52 one, I sanded down the ears a bit to make them a bit more pointy, sanded the back and the front. I painted the eyes in the cowl, I painted a Lego Batman movie head, and I just painted, like, the beard and everything, and then I painted black onto the white eyes. On the back, I did paint the beard as well, as you can see, so you could change the expression if I wanted to, but I mostly just keep it on this one all the time. And then his torso and legs are very simple. I just used like the Ultron, I used an Ultron body for this figure, the base of this figure, because something I've noticed in this movie is Batman's suit, it isn't a light gray like how most people do it and how Lego made it. It's more of a darker gray color. So I painted all the detail you see onto it, from the padding and everything of his suit. And I painted the bat symbol on his chest. I gave him this batarang, which I made by cutting off the ends and then painting them in gunmetal gray. And then the belt, as you can see, is the new Lego Batman movie belt, which I did paint fully in black, in gold, and then I painted black in like the inside there and on the sides, and I did the same thing for the back, although I didn't really dirty the back because the front of his belt does look a bit dirty. It has like a dirty color to it, but yes, that's it for Batman. Also his boots, I painted them, and the oh yeah, the arms, I forgot, I wrapped electrical tape to make his gloves longer, and I painted the detail on there. But yeah guys, so that's it for Batman. Next up here we have Wonder Woman, and like I mentioned before, I finished this figure way back at the end of July. The reason I finished it in the end of July is because I didn't have any figures to work on, and my mom's birthday is actually in the end of July, so I decided, you know what, since she likes Wonder Woman, I would finish my Wonder Woman figure and give it to my mom as a birthday gift. I'm just using it here for the showcase. I actually did just recently paint her weapons the other night. I found a gold sword, which I just painted the blade in silver, as you can see. And then the shield is actually a Captain America shield that I used as the base. I just painted the back in silver. And then I painted the front in gunmetal gray, and I painted the ring in like a dark gray pavement color, and then all the gold detail you see on there. This figure was very simple. I didn't use the normal Wonder Woman hairpiece that everybody uses. I feel it's like too big for her hair. I like this one. It's a little wavier. And I used a Sharon Carter head. I painted the tiara, as you can see, on her face. Nothing on the back of her head. Nothing on her back either, since the hair covers most of it. Her strap, as you can see, does go over her shoulder. Sorry for the bit of a glare. And then her belt is made out of electrical tape. I did paint the flesh color on the sides of the torso. And then you can see her gauntlets that I painted. I don't have the new Wonder Woman figure, so I painted the gauntlets from scratch, which I actually like how they look. And I painted like a Wonder Woman armband, which is probably not that accurate, but I like it anyway. And then one on the other side, and as you can see, detail does wrap around the inside. I don't know how well you can see it, because there's a bit of a glare for some reason. I don't know why. And then the skirt I made myself out of fabric. I painted a piece of fabric. This is the newer style fabric you guys have probably seen me use before on my Daredevil figure. This is the same type of fabric. I painted it in dark blue and gold at the bottom, cut out the shape. I did leave, like, the sides. I cut them. I'll bring the light down a little bit more so you guys can see. I did cut the sides so the legs would be posable and the skirt could move. And the legs I used were just plain flesh legs, and then I then painted her boots and everything, her heels, onto the flesh legs. And yeah, so that's about it for Wonder Woman. This is probably one of my favorite figures besides Flash in this showcase. Yeah, so I'll just put her back together real quickly here. And no, I did not make her lasso, and I don't plan to. Because, I mean, she won't be able to hold it anyway, since she is holding her sword and shield. But, yeah, guys, that's, Wonder Woman. Alright, guys, and next up here we have my second favorite figure in this showcase, and that is the Flash. I really like how this guy turned out. I think he really turned out nicely with all the 3D elements that I added to him. And everything, there's a full 360 of him. But yeah, so starting off with the head, I just used a normal Flash cowl. I painted it in this red color. I cut off the lightning bolts first, then sanded it, painted it in this red color. I glued on these lightning bolt wing things that he has. I glued those on like a thick card, and then I ended up painting lines on the top because of his mask. I couldn't really find too many photos of like what his mask looked like. They were either too blurry, too dark. Even the costume I couldn't really tell, so I didn't add anything else except those black lines. Just to add something else to the mask so it wouldn't be so plain. But, yeah, so moving on to the head. This head was actually a Tony Stark head, which kind of looks weird under the mask. I erased the mouth, kept the eyes. I painted a new mouth, painted the bottom of the head red, and left the double-sided face to give him a smiling expression. Which I like the stern expression better under the mask. Not the smiling one. I think I don't really think it goes well with the figure. I don't know. You guys could tell me what you think in the comments below. But, yeah, so for his armor pattern, not pattern, but for his armor plating, I didn't want to sculpt it, make it look too thick. So I only sculpted on the shoulder pads, because those are okay if they're thick. I didn't really care about if those were thick. But the actual chest, I didn't want him to be a bulky figure. So what I ended up doing was I cut out cardstock paper into these little shapes and glued them on. And I did that on the front of the torso for his little belt piece here. And I did the same thing for the back. Cut out these little cardstock pieces and glued them on. And then I ended up painting them in red. Painted all the detail you see there. His gold belt does go all the way around to the back, as you saw earlier. And that is on both sides. Now the shoulders, I noticed, are uneven because I didn't paint them matching them up. I just painted them separately. I didn't have them side by side. I mean, for the most part, everything else matches up. Just those shoulder pads, they, like the front of them and the back, the lines don't match up. Like that one, you can tell it's higher than the other. This one was the first one I painted. And then for his gloves, you can see I painted the red on his gloves, the skin for his fingers. And the legs are sort of posable. Sometimes the paint does tend to rub off, as it did there. I'm going to have to repaint that later, so I'm not really going to move the legs around too much. Well, that one's fine now since the paint rubbed off for some reason. I don't know why it keeps doing that. The legs, the insides of the legs are sanded. As you can see, all the detail on this Flash figure, everything that was painted goes around and wraps around to the inside of the legs. I would have painted some side torso detail, but as you saw, or as you saw from my other most of my other figures, they don't have any side printed detail in the showcase, so I just went against it. But yeah, so that's all I have to say for this figure, other than he's one of my favorite figures in the showcase. That is Flash. Next up here we have Aquaman. Now, going into this, I thought Aquaman was going to be one of the hardest figures to make in this showcase, and boy was I wrong. This guy was actually a real easy figure to do. He turned out looking really nicely. I borrowed some ideas from 97 Lego Maniac. I put a link to his channel in the description below. Whenever I end up crediting him on this channel a lot, I've noticed. But so the trident is just a normal Lego trident. Didn't feel like modifying it. But yeah, so it's normal black trident. Now for the arms and the torso, I kind of bulked him up a little bit, gave him like some muscles, and on like the arms especially, mostly so I can take the X-Acto knife and the back of the X-Acto knife and rub it into the clay, so I could get this scale pattern, which I think looks really nice. And the hair, as you notice, I used the Wonder Woman hairpiece because I feel it works way better for him than it does on Wonder Woman. Since it's like a big hairpiece and he has a lot of hair. And if I can remove this, hair's kind of stuck to the head here. Let's see. There we go. I used a Jack Sparrow head, as you can see here. I've just painted the beard on. The head does have to be elevated a little bit so the hair doesn't rub into the clay or the paint, which it did when the clay was drying. I did not realize it was still wet, and I felt it and it felt dry, and I stuck the hairpiece on and it damaged it. So, but yeah, so you can see all the details that were painted onto him, the arms and everything, all the gold details. How accurate the gold details on his arms are, I have no idea, because I couldn't really find too many good pics of him as well. But I painted the shoulder pads in like plain gold, painted all the gold detail you see here, and painted these little lines to them, which were very time consuming, very hard. I kept messing up a lot, as you can probably tell with some of them, like they look a little off. I did add some black lines to his suit. And you're probably wondering why I chose a lighter green. Well, I had a really dark green, which would have matched, but it was too dark. Like, if I could have used, like, I have this hood here, Lego's green color, kind of looks bright in the light too, but Lego's green color would have worked for a base if I could find a paint that matches Lego's green. I don't know if you guys have, let me know in the comments down below if you have found a paint that matches Lego's green, but I don't have one. The one I used was super dark. It was more of a gray, a really dark gray, black green, which didn't look like his suit at all, so I just painted over it with this lighter green, which I like anyway. But and yeah, you can see the detail on the legs. The paint on his legs, unlike Flash, it does not rub off. He has posable legs. They are a little tight, but that's just for like little hinge. And his legs are removable. The belt piece is attached to the leg, so it can come off with the little A symbol. And I didn't really know what to put on his back. Couldn't find too many good reference photos. And the boots, I saw one photo where he had gold boots, so I put those on because they seemed easier to do. Now, whether he wears plain gold boots in the movie or not, I don't really know. I'm sure he probably has a more detailed boots that I've seen in some other photos, but I just thought these would be the easiest to paint, and they would go with the figure, since a lot of him on my figure is just plain gold. Like, I didn't do too much with detail. I tried to go really simple on these, except for Flash. Flash I wanted to look really nice. Wonder Woman I wanted to look really nice. But yes, I'll go ahead and put his trident back on. And back in his hand. And there you go, guys. That is Aquaman. We can move on to the final figure. Alright, guys, so the final figure we have here is Cyborg. Now, the first thing that's probably going to stand out to you is the head. The head, honestly, I will admit, looks a bit off. So if you guys have any tips to help me fix that, maybe, those would be much appreciated. But I did have to sculpt a lot on this figure, mainly on the arms and the torso and the face, because I don't have an actual Cyborg head. Otherwise, I would have used one. But, yeah, so I painted this whole head and sculpted on it from scratch. This whole figure was made from scratch. All these figures are basically made from scratch, except some faces. But, like Batman, Wonder Woman, and Flash and Aquaman was just extra added detail. But Cyborg, I just painted an entire head. I sculpted over the entire head, and as you can see, it gave it 360. Now, you're probably wondering the back. Why is the back plain? Now, the same thing happened with Aquaman, same thing with Wonder Woman, same thing with Batman, which I did not mention. Couldn't find any reference photos for the back. Didn't feel like searching too much for any either, because, like, the arms and the torso, the front of the torso and the head was already too hard to do, and I didn't want to ruin it. Making the back, I think it's fine. The back is fine being plain the way it is. I don't really care. You're not going to see the back anyway on most of these. But yeah, so can remove the head. And the torso was a blue torso that I sanded the sides to paint the whole thing silver. And the arms, and the paint did scrape that. But, I mean, there's no reason to remove the head other than to show you that it was a blue torso. But, so I sculpted on the arms, sculpted the shoulder pads, sculpted these things on the top of his arms, and I cut some lines into them, cut some lines into the helmet, and I sculpted first the chest piece here. I pressed down in the middle for the red, I put a whole bunch of lines, as you can see, to give him a mechanical look, sculpted his, the lower part of his chest, as you can see, filled in all the, I don't know what you want to call it, but, I painted all those things there. I pressed in with the X-Acto knife. I don't know why I can't really talk in this video. Sorry about that, guys. I'm just rambling here. But I cut some lines into the chest, painted them black, painted like red at the top to give him like the glowing effect. Painted his legs. They were plain gray legs, which I painted silver. I did sand down the tops, like the sides in there, to give him, that's why, as you can see, he does have a hole. One is higher than the other, I notice now. But yeah, I didn't go all out with too much detail on this figure, mainly with the torso. I wanted the torso and the head to have as much detail as possible, but the arms and the legs, I just wanted to go really simple, because if you guys remember my Iron Man, the torso looked good, the helmet looked good, but when it came to the arms and the legs, those I honestly think looked pretty bad, all the lines and everything. So I tried to go with as less detail as possible on the legs and on the arms. But yeah, guys, so that's about it for this figure. I'm really happy he's done, because he turned out to be more work than Aquaman, and I thought Aquaman was going to be hard. But yeah, guys, so now we can go ahead and wrap up this video. Alright, guys, so that's about it for this video. Really hope you guys enjoyed these figures as much as I enjoyed making them. I don't have much planned for future videos as of right now. I want to try and finish my Avengers Episode 2. Also, before I get into other stuff on my channel, I want to mention that I don't know when I'm going to be able to see the movie. So, I should have mentioned this in the the beginning of the video, but please, no spoilers for the movie. I will end up deleting comments with spoilers, so best not to put any. But, yeah, so at least until I've confirmed that I've seen the movie, don't put any spoilers on this video or anything, because I don't know when I'm going to be able to see it. So, if I do see it, I'll pin a comment in the description of this video saying that I've seen it, that it's okay to post spoilers, I guess. But, yeah, so, like I said, I really enjoyed making these figures. Don't know when I'm going to see the movie, but now onto the rest of my channel. I don't have too many videos planned to do. I am working on a few figures, which I'll talk about in a minute, but, and so the next video that I'm going to try to get out is my Avengers Episode 2. I've already written the script for that one. I don't remember if I mentioned this before, but I've already written the script. I just need to complete production. I started production on a few scenes, just don't have any voice actors yet. So, hopefully by December the video can finally come out. It was supposed to come out in October, but that didn't happen. And my Batman series, I don't know where I'm going with that. I don't know if I will continue that. I'm not confirming anything yet, because I know some of you guys really like the first episode. So I'm not confirming it yet, even though I have mentioned before that I'm thinking of canceling it. I don't think I mentioned it in a specific video, though, but I was thinking of canceling it. I don't know if I will. Avengers Episode 2, that's what I'm going to start production on. And then other custom figures, I don't have anything else that I'm working on right now, other than my Ruby figures. As you can see, I'll zoom the camera out a bit so you guys can see these better. Yang's face, I know, definitely needs to be redone. I don't like the way it turned out. Ruby is almost done. Her Crescent Rose, on the other hand, is taking a long while to complete. So I don't know when I'm going to finish Crescent Rose, but I know Ruby's almost done. As you can see, Weiss is complete, Blake is fully complete. I don't remember what state they were in the last video. I just knocked something over. While I was sculpting Cyborg, I made Yang's gauntlet, which it is removable. I won't show you how I did that yet, but I'll just show you that it is painted. I plan to make a few more Ruby figures. I don't know who else yet, other than Crow and Zwei, and Weiss's sister Winter, a few others. I don't know who else yet. I don't know when this video will be out. As of right now, I'm going to slow down custom minifigures a bit, because, like I said, I want to work on Avengers Episode 2, get back into my stop-motion animations. But yeah, guys, so really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to give it a like if you did. Don't forget to comment, share, and subscribe for more time-lapse builds, custom minifigures, set reviews, and yeah, that's about it, and bye.